Hi guys, Coach Carter here. Just wanted to make a new video about upper body progression exercises. So these are exercises that we'll do with very young kids, freshmen, maybe upper middle school age kids that are new to weightlifting. So this is to prepare them to have the strength to complete upper body weightlifting exercises such as bench, incline bench, some type of overhead press exercise. We want to develop a good foundation of strength before we get them with weight with those exercises. So I call them upper body progressions. You can call them upper body warm-up lifts, beginner's lifts, but here we go. Why progressions? Many kids don't begin with the upper body strength to perform regular push-ups with good form. Progressions will help develop the strength. So if we're specifically talking about push-ups, okay, hopefully all your kids can do push-ups. I know I was stunned when I really first started doing weightlifting classes, how many kids that were older, juniors, seniors, couldn't do regular push-ups. They could bench some good weight, but they didn't have the upper body endurance and strength to do a push-up. So the goal is to get that foundation laid to build upon it. If we start too fast, and again, I go back to this point a lot in the videos, but let's set the foundation. A, the form will get really, really good when there's a foundation laid. B, we will have a lot more growth in terms of strength once we do start adding in the weight because the foundation will be really, really solid. But if we're specifically talking about push-ups, which kind of the progression exercises go through. Cues, hands begin right under the shoulders, so we don't want to have them too wide here. Usually when we're talking about a regular push-up, hands right under the shoulders. Again, there are diamond, there are wide strength exercises for push-ups. We're talking about general push-ups here. Keep body flat, no butt spiking. Obviously, we don't want to see any of that in our kids when they're doing push-ups. That's a sign of weak core, a weak upper body, weak shoulders, right? This is what we're looking for, nice and flat. A goal is to get chest to the ground for full range of motion. And a theme you'll see with more videos, range of motion. I believe in it. I believe the more range of motion a kid has, the less likely they are to get injured in the future. So the goal is for all the kids in our weight program is to do a push-up with your chest hitting the ground and then come all the way back up. If you've been around a bunch of freshmen, especially in a regular PE class, most of your kids can't do that. So it's going to take some work. And instead of just having kids do, again, if we're talking specifically about push-ups here, to gradually get them prepared for weightlifting, in regard to push-ups, if I have a kid every day try to do regular push-ups, he's probably not going to improve that much over weeks to months. He's just, he might get some isometric strength developed, but if he doesn't have the strength to go down and then push himself back up in a regular fashion, he's not going to develop that on his own. So how do we develop it? So we do exercises. So the first one, we're going to start with planks. Again, a pretty general exercise here. Where's that video? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm just holding myself up nice and rigid. There's a slight spike there, but all I'm doing is activating the core, activating the shoulders, and holding myself up. Anywhere between 20 to 30 seconds per set of this. It's a great starter exercise for large groups to just to get those muscles firing. Shoulder taps is one of my personal favorites. Where are we at here? Planks, go away. Shoulder taps. Okay. Now we're talking about holding myself in the push-up position and just touching my shoulders. So I'm kind of rocking back and forth. You can see there's a little bit of a dynamic movement going on. Here's a frontal view. Again, just touching my shoulders and learning how to independently or unilaterally hold myself up quickly on one arm after the other. So again, this is actually one that the kids seem to enjoy and is really easy to just get them moving in those push-up positions. And the goal is with this order, starting with least intense, working our way down to most intense. So planks, shoulder taps, all your kids should be able to do. If they can't do one of those two exercises, then we probably need to really start even slower. But most kids that you'll get can at least hold themselves up in the push-up position. Okay, number 3. So now we're getting to a little more intense of an exercise. Okay, so isometric push-up on a knee. Okay, so my knees are down. Again, we're starting from least intense, so we're going to have the knees down. I'm going to hold myself at the bottom of the push-up position. My chest is 1 inch off the ground, and I'm just holding. Okay, so similar to a wall sit, if you're in the back of the wall in a parallel position, your legs are firing. Even though your legs aren't moving, the muscles are still firing. Okay, same idea here. we're holding ourselves in the bottom position and then coming up. Probably for a 3 to 5 count, hold, come up. Okay, one more time so you get a feel for the video. Hold, come up. And you'll see the kids, they'll feel it. They'll feel the chest, they'll feel the shoulder muscles firing. So we're holding that isometric phase of the push-up. Okay, number 4, now moving to assisted push-ups on knees. Okay, I hate this term, but girl push-ups or adapted push-ups, we call them assisted push-ups. What's assisting us? Well, our knees being on the ground is assisting us. So this is, again, a normal progression exercise for most people. They'll say, okay, put your knees on the ground, which is good. Again, if you can't do a regular push-up, this is a great starter exercise for your groups. So very generally, again, you can probably have my hands a little further up. My head's getting cut off, but doing the push-up, trying to get my chest to the ground, but my knees are on the ground. One general rule, usually your hands will be a little further forward in the assisted push-up exercise. Just because when your knees are on the ground, your trunk moves forward, it's probably going to cause your hands to move forward a little bit. So very common, very, very successful beginner exercise for new lifters, for new push-uppers, if you will. Okay, moving on here, we have one that I forgot earlier is elbow push-ups. Okay, so it's similar to the plank. We're going to hold ourselves up in the push-up position, but now I'm just falling to an elbow and working myself back up. So now I'm learning how to hold myself up without my knees on the ground, but it's almost like quarter push-ups. Again, this is another one that kids kind of have fun with. Why do they have fun with it? Because they can be successful with it. So elbows to hands, elbows to hands. So there's kind of a rocking motion, but again, you're not going all the way down, but you're still teaching your body to fire those shoulders and work yourself up. There's a front view. So again, this would be a good exercise to add in with your kids as they're beginning to learn how to hold themselves up in that plank position. Again, from the front, going down to elbows, working ourselves back up. I'm doing it here in the weight room just because that's where my camera is at, but generally you're going to want to do this on a softer surface. The elbows can get a little red. Sometimes with those PE kids, they might be a little whiny, but tell them to suck it up. That's what I do. Okay, ISO push-ups. Okay, so the same theme. So here we go, if we're on our list here, ISO push-ups. Following our same theme with isometric hold with our knees on the ground, well, now we're hopefully getting to the strength level of where we can do ISO push-ups with our knees off the ground. So again, going down, holding it for a 3 to 5 count, nice and straight and up. Down, 3, 2, 1, and back up. Okay, this was a 5 count. So one more time. Now again, this is going to be a little harder because the kids are holding, but they'll feel the muscles firing, they'll feel the chest firing, they might feel their delts firing a little bit. But the idea is to teach them how to hold that bottom position. In the squat, you call it getting out of the hole. Again, if you're relating that to push-ups, getting out of the hole at the bottom, teaching the body how to explode up with force. Okay, our last progression exercise for push-ups specifically, which is going to hopefully give us the strength for successful weightlifting exercises, is tempo push-up. So now I'm moving down at a controlled pace. So the cue would go 3, 2, 1, up if I have a big group of kids. So the video, okay, I'm going down controlled and then exploding up. Down controlled, exploding up. So I'm not just falling down quickly, nice and slow and controlled, really fire those muscles and explode up. Again, this is going to tax the muscles, a little more than a regular push-up would in reality because you're really controlling it down. So we're going to really keep our reps probably within the 5 to 8 range for newer kids. You will definitely feel this as the body is moving through it. I call it tempo. If eccentric push-ups could be another term you might hear. Tempo. I like tempo as it relates to the time. 3, 2, 1, up, 3, 2, 1, up. Okay. So finally, hopefully you can finish with regular push-ups, right? Good speed, all the way up, all the way down. As you can see, my chest is getting 1 inch off the ground. I'm getting full extension, or I should be. Hopefully, my military friend would say that's military standard. But the idea is that you can get all your kids to do this, right? Big boys, little boys, if you have a PE class, girls, new athletes. The goal is to get all your athletes to have the upper body strength to hold themselves in the push-up position and do proper push-ups with their chest, coming quickly touching the ground and extending all the way back up. It won't happen right away, right? Just like anything, it takes some time to develop that strength. But I've seen it in, real life, that if you can work through these exercises in some type of fashion, you can get the kids to the upper body strength for a full regular push-up. Okay, quickly I'll talk about programming. This is really done as warm-up, pre-lifting type of work. So just because we're doing these exercises doesn't mean the kids can't go and lift afterwards. I like to incorporate these for young kids throughout the year, but for older kids intermittently throughout a macro cycle. Just really teach the kids how to fire those small independent muscles of the upper body and get them trained and get them reinforced over and over and over again. Normally it'd be a 5 to 10 minute warm up. I would do something like, okay kids, 20-second planks, hold that position, 3, 2, 1, hold, keep that butt flat. For shoulder taps, here we go, shoulder taps, give me 20 shoulder taps. And they'll go tap, tap, tap. ISO push up on knees. Hopefully we're on turf where it's not going to be, rubbing their knees too bad, but I would say ready position, and I would say down, up, or I could say 10 ISO push up on your knees. They get after it. So once these kids learn the vocabulary for the upper body progressions, it makes it really, really easy to teach. Again, they can be built into a weightlifting cycle in the weight room. I recommend these, as I do with most of my progression exercises, as a quick warm-up before you go into the weight room. So hopefully you guys understand kind of how I want to progress the kids. Again, the big theme with my whole program is prepare kids to lift heavy weight. Don't prepare them to lift heavy weight by just doing the lifts, right? Train them with other progression warm-up exercises, which is going to develop their strength, their isometric, their eccentric, their concentric strength without weight. So when they do add that load in the weight room, they're really going to be able to increase those maxes at a high rate. So thanks for watching. See you soon.